You log into your Google Ads account, you see impressions, clicks, even some traffic showing up in Google Analytics. And then you look at leads and sales, and it's just crickets. The hardest part is figuring out what to fix first. Do you tear down the landing page and start over? Do you kill Performance Max? Do you mess with bid strategies? In this video, I want to give you a simple and very practical way to answer one question. Is it the campaign or is it the landing page? By the end, you'll know exactly where to spend the next block of time instead of randomly poking at everything and hoping something works. Now first, before you touch anything, pull 3 numbers from the last 30 days. If you don't have much volume, try going back a couple of months. The 3 numbers we're looking for here are the click-through rate, conversion rate, and cost per conversion. Click-through rate tells you how attractive and relevant your ads are to the people who are seeing them. Conversion rate tells you how well your landing page and your offer are turning those clicks into actual leads or customers. And cost per conversion pulls it back to money. That's what you're paying for each result. Once you have those 3 numbers, the rest of this is just reading what they're trying to tell you. Let's start with the first scenario. Your click-through rate is low, but your conversion rate looks reasonable for your industry. For example, you might see something like a 1% click-through rate, but when people do land on your lead gen page, 8 to 10% of them fill out a form. That's not amazing, but it's also not terrible either. What does that actually mean? It means that when the right people actually find their way to your landing page, they're converting at an okay clip. So the page is at least doing a passable job. The real problem is that not enough of the right people are clicking on the ad in the first place. In this situation, your focus should be on the campaign and not on the landing page. Tighten up your targeting and your keywords. Get rid of those broad, vague terms that are dragging in people who are just browsing or just totally wrong for you. Then look at your headlines and descriptions and rewrite them so they call out to a specific problem you solve and who you solve it for. You want people to read the ad and think, "Yep, that's me," or "Nope, that's not me." Also, take a look at your placements if you're running any kind of smart or automated campaign. If you see a bunch of cheap display traffic eating up your budget, rein that in so your spend can go to higher intent spots. In this branch, do not burn 3 days redesigning your landing page. Get better, more relevant traffic first. The page is innocent enough for now. Now here's the second scenario. Your click-through rate looks pretty solid, but your conversion rate is weak. So you might see a 5 to 7% click-through rate on search, which is totally fine, but only 1 to 2% of visitors are actually filling out a form or making a purchase. That's your classic after the click breakdown. The ads are doing their job. People are interested enough to click, but something is falling apart on the landing page. When that happens, you want to look at 3 things: the message, the offer, and the friction on the page. First, message mismatch. That one's kind of a tongue twister. This is where your ad promises one clear benefit, but the headline on your landing page drifts into something vague or generic. So someone clicks thinking, "I'm going to see X." And then the page starts talking about quote unquote solutions and quote unquote platforms and quote unquote experiences. And they're like, "What?" That disconnect kills conversions. Second is the offer itself. It might be weak or unclear. If your main call to action is "contact us" or "request more information," there isn't really much energy there. The visitor has no idea what happens next, how long it takes, or what they get out of it. People are busy. They're not going to take the next step if the payoff is fuzzy. And then third, you have friction. Long forms, multiple steps, pop-ups, fighting for attention, a layout that makes you hunt for the call to action. All of that feels like work. And on the internet, if it feels like work, people bail. Now, there is one small caveat here. There are certain campaigns that actually benefit from a little bit of friction using a multi-step form that helps to qualify leads. But that's if you have a lead quality problem. So on top of all of that, you might also have a trust problem. If there are no testimonials, no case studies, no recognizable logos, no specific proof, just a bunch of claims, well, then people are going to hesitate, especially on higher ticket or B2B stuff. So how do you fix it? Start at the top of the page. Rewrite your headline and subheadline so that they mirror the search intent and the main keyword you're bidding on. If the ad says Google Ad Management for cleaning companies, for example, then your landing page headline should say something very close to that, not results-driven digital marketing. Then you want to simplify the hero section. You want one main benefit, one supporting line, and one obvious call to action. We want to lead people down a single path of action here. Don't make people read a novel before they understand what you actually do and what the next step is. Next, shorten the form. Only ask for the minimum information that you need to start a real sales conversation. You can always qualify people later. Every extra field is another chance for someone to say, forget it, and close the tab. Finally, you want to layer in very concrete social proof right around the call to action. Show results, reviews, logos, or a quick before and after. Anything that says, people like you did this and it turned out really well. When click-through rate is good and conversion rate is poor, treat the landing page as guilty until it proves itself innocent. Now here's the third scenario. Your click-through rate is low and your conversion rate is also low. Maybe you're seeing something like a 1 to 2% click-through rate and a 1 to 2% conversion rate on a B2B lead gen campaign. Well, that's rough. Here, both sides of the system need work. The ads are not compelling enough to pull in the right people, and the landing page is not doing much to save the traffic you do get. The natural reaction is to say, this whole thing is broken, and just burn it all down. But the better way is to fix it in a very specific order. Start with targeting and keywords. Make sure you're going after people who are actually in the buying situation, not just researching or vaguely curious. Tighten up those keywords so they reflect real buying intent. Then rewrite your ad copy so it's tightly aligned with those keywords. Call out the specific outcome you deliver or the specific pain you remove. Again, you want the right person to instantly recognize themselves in the ad, and you want the wrong people to simply ignore it. Once you've done that, go back to the top of the landing page and make it feel like a natural continuation of the ad. Use the same language, the same promise, and the same call to action. If the ad says, book a free roof inspection in under 60 seconds, the headline should not suddenly talk about home improvement solutions. It should talk about booking a roof inspection in under 60 seconds. Think of it like a single, continuous message that starts with the search query, flows into the ad, continues into the headline, and ends at the call to action. If any step feels like a left turn, people drop out, and your conversion rate pays the price. Now, there are a couple situations where neither the campaign or the landing page is the real villain. The first is technical issues. You can have great ads and a solid landing page and still get zero results if, say, the form is broken. So if metrics suddenly look weird, like you're going from steady conversions to nothing overnight while traffic stays the same, then it's time to do a sanity check. Submit your own form. Try it out on mobile and desktop. See if it actually reaches your CRM or inbox. Also keep an eye out for any 403 errors, SSL warnings, or painfully slow load times. People are not going to wait 8 seconds for your page to load. The second is offer market mismatch. Sometimes the thing you're selling or the way you're pricing it just isn't attractive to the people you're targeting. In that case, you can have perfect alignment between your ad and landing page and still struggle because the underlying offer doesn't feel worth it. No amount of clever copy can fully fix that. At some point, you have to go back and tweak the offer itself. So if your numbers look strange, especially if you see sudden drops with no clear changes in the account, rule out technical issues first. Then ask the hard question. Is the offer actually compelling to this audience? All right, now let's end this video by turning all of this into a little decision tree that you can run anytime your campaign feels off. Step 1, look at click-through rate. If CTR is low, your first job is to work on audience, keywords, and ad message. In other words, who you're talking to and what you're saying in the ad. If click-through rate looks good, move to step 2 and check conversion rate. If conversion rate is low while your click-through rate is healthy, your focus shifts to the landing page and offer. That's where the funnel is breaking apart. If both click-through rate and conversion rate are low, start on the campaign side. Fix targeting and ads first. Then come back and rebuild the top of the landing page so it matches the new ad copy. And running in the background of all of this is one safety check. At any point, if performance suddenly tanks for no obvious reason, pause and verify that the forms, tracking, and basic site functionality are working. Don't rewrite everything just because of a broken submit button. When you follow this little chain of if this then that, the mystery disappears. You're not waiting around hoping the algorithm wakes up one day. You're just following the numbers. So remember, next time performance dips and you get that feeling that this is just not working, resist the urge to rebuild everything from scratch. Pull those 3 numbers, run them through this framework, and then put your effort into the part that's actually broken. That's how you go from vague frustration to a clear, fixable plan.